Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Swedish Jeff 2024. Hope that everyone is doing well. I wanted to talk tonight about the APBA Pro Baseball Board Game Master Game Edition. Earlier this evening, Dave Gardner, Tebow, and I, we had a discussion about the APBA Master Game versus the basic game, and it was a really good chat. I enjoyed it. We had a few technical difficulties earlier this evening, but I really did enjoy that. It was a live stream, my first, and I guess it's kind of appropriate that it was like it was APBA because it was like the first unboxing video that I did, which was, kind of funny and a little bit cluttered, and that had, some technical difficulties too, but you got to start somewhere, and I really did enjoy it. But I wanted to talk to you all about that. For those of you who didn't get to see the video, didn't get to see the chat, is I recently got the Master Game edition of APBA Baseball after having the basic game, and I got the Master Game before Christmas. And one of the reasons why I got it is it's a good thing to have. I think it's good to have as an accompaniment to the basic game, and eventually I will get the Master Game for the football too. I think they're good to have, to have there if you need it, or if you want to have it, it's there. If you want to just play the basic game, that's fine and very cool. If you want to do that, I totally get it. But it's good to have it there in case you want to use it. And, I played the basic games since last year, since last April. And it just got to a point, there were some things that were happening in the basic game that I think the game is fine and it plays very realistic, but there were a couple odd, what I would say are anomalies that happened that puzzled me a little bit. For example, I was playing a game between the Phillies and the Reds in '81, and Tom Seaver was on first base. And I rolled the dice, and Tom Seaver got caught stealing. Now, Seaver was actually an average runner in 1981, but I looked it up on Baseball Reference. In his career, Tom Seaver had a total of four stolen bases, and he never got caught. His last stolen base was, drum roll please, 1973. So he did not steal a base after 1973. He did not even attempt to steal a base after 1973, and yet here he is getting caught stealing. So I was thinking, okay, maybe he was leaning. He was leaning off the base and he got picked off, and he slipped and he got picked off first. The only other scenario I could think of is a hit and run where it was a full count and maybe the Reds just started him off as running to avoid the double play. But, it just didn't seem like that was going to be very likely that was going to happen. So, and then not having the lefty-righty splits, I missed that. I missed having that. And that was one of the reasons why I was attracted to Stratomatic, the advanced game for Strat versus the basic. The basic is fine and it's a great game, but it was a little bit too easy for me back then. And I said, I want to try something else. I want to do the lefty righty splits. I want the ballpark effects. I want to go to the next level. And that's when I started playing the advanced. And with the Master Game Edition, it feels like the advanced Strat, not the super advanced. But I guess I'm not really qualified to say that because I never played the super advanced. But this one doesn't feel complicated. Yet for a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but some people in the APBA community, they feel like that it is complicated because one of the things that we were discussing earlier is that this game, not APBA baseball specifically, but the Master Game Edition has been quite a lightning rod of controversy, and some people have been very, very adamant about that this game is just horrible, it's a nightmare, it's too complicated, I'll never play it, blah, 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 blah. And, this is why, one of the reasons why I actually held back is I had heard some of these horror stories, and I said, well, I think I'll just stick with the basic game for now. But fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, right before Christmas, I said, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to go get the Master Game. And I did. And it arrived last week, right before the weekend. And I've been practicing all weekend and watching a lot of videos, watching Dave's videos, watching Tebow's videos, watching our Red Sox fans' videos, pretty much anybody who has done an APBA Master Baseball Game tutorial or video, I watched you. So thank you. And I can say, and I will say, that this game, it feels more like watching a baseball game or listening to a baseball game. In the same way that APBA football, the basic version, I haven't played the Master yet, but I will. In the same way that feels like you're watching a football game on a Sunday afternoon or a Monday night or a Thursday night or a Saturday afternoon during the months of January, December and January. Anyway, you get the drift. This feels more like watching a baseball game or listening to it versus the basic game, which is pretty much boom, boom, grounder to short, out, fly ball to center, out. And, you have occasional runner gets thrown out. If he's a slow runner, he gets thrown out at home. Stuff like that, which is fine. It's a good game. It has a nice rhythm to it. But with the Master Game, it just has more details to it. And I made a kind of a joking comparison last week. I said, the basic game is like a 2 CD set of a classic album, where like CD 1 is the remastered album mix, and then CD 2 is you get some live tracks and you get some alternate takes, where this feels like the 5 CD deluxe edition, with all the alternate tracks and demos, and you get live tracks, and you get the Dolby Atmos version, you get the mono mix, and then you get, all these different remixes. You get more details is my point here. And if you're a baseball fan, why wouldn't you love it? The more baseball, the better. And if you love something, then it's not going to matter whether it takes 30 to 45 minutes or an hour. I understand that people have schedules and they have a lot of things going on, but to me, this is not really time consuming. If you're taking an hour, which is about what it's taking me right now to play, about an hour versus 30 to 45 minutes, but it's like, so what, it doesn't feel like it's taking a long time. And the thing is the pace of the game. It doesn't feel lethargic. It doesn't feel like it's plodding along, moving very slowly. And, if I can put on my former professional video critic cap here for a second, it's like if you're watching a movie. And some movies are like 2.5 hours, and a lot of movies now, for whatever reason, are usually 2 hours plus. But if you're watching a movie that's like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but it's really moving along fast, at a good pace, you don't care how long it is. I'll give you an example here. The Fugitive. The movie The Fugitive is at least a couple hours, but that movie just, boom, right off the bat, you're moving along. That movie just constantly is moving along. And before you know it, it's over with. And you went, oh, wow, that was such a great movie. Or maybe you don't think so. But most people really like that film. Then there are other movies like, say, for example, The English Patient, which, by the way, is a great movie if you have insomnia. I'm sorry, I tried to watch that film, and that is a movie that just plods along, takes its time. And it's not that, there are some films that start slow and you have to be patient and then they pick up, But that movie just kind of plods along and it just goes on. And that's what I'm talking about, is the pace. The pace doesn't feel like it's slow and boring and lethargic. It doesn't feel like that. And that time flies by like nothing, And I mean, it's the cliche, but time flies when you're having fun. If you're waiting in line at the DMV, an hour can feel like an eternity. But if you are at the ballpark, at a ball game, and you arrive, an hour before, that time just flies by like nothing, Or if you're at the movies and you're seeing a film that you really want to see, that hour just flies by like that, And if you're having fun doing something you love, that time is gonna fly by. And it's not so much the time that it takes, it's how you utilize the time, how you use that time. And what are you doing with it? And it kind of reminds me of something that, speaking of the Chicago Cubs, I love this shirt, by the way. I got this in October or November of 2016, and as a Cubs fan, that offseason was the best. I have a couple friends of mine who are Red Sox fans that in 2004 they went nuts, and I was very happy for them, but there was a part of me that was a little jealous, like, when is my team going to get the chance? And we had to wait 12 years, but it was well worth the wait. But Joe Madden, the manager of the Cubs, had this phrase that he would write down on the lineup card in every game, before every game, and it was, never permit the pressure to exceed the pleasure. And I always thought that was, that's a cute phrase, that's funny. But I never really understood what it meant until later on. And basically what he means, I think, how I interpreted it, I could be wrong, is that if you're gonna do something, whatever you do, but especially if you're playing baseball, you're playing a game that grown men get paid millions, if not billions of dollars, if you're Los Angeles Dodgers, and you get to play a game and you get paid for it. And it's fun. You're not delivering babies. You're not, firefighters. You're not curing cancer. You're not, first responders. You're not overseas in a war zone. You are playing a game, and it should be fun. This is not brain surgery here. And I think that what Madden was trying to say is that if you're going to play this game, enjoy it, and don't overstress, and don't feel like the world is ending because, oh, I dropped a foul ball, and oh, this fan grabbed the ball, and oh no, I slipped on the outfield, I slipped on the grass, and Madden had said that year, something bad's going to happen. Why would you say that? Because there's always something that's going to happen, during the playoffs. Just be prepared. Don't let it freak you out. Don't let it destroy you, because these things tend to even out during the season. You're going to have calls that go against you. You're going to have calls that are going to go for you. You're going to win games that you should have lost. You're going to lose games that you should have won. And that's baseball, but you should have fun with it. It's a game. And I think that, even though this is a board game, and that's BOARD, by the way, you're playing a board game, but you're playing a game. It should be fun. It should be fun. And I understand that, if you really try and you say, hey, Jeff, I appreciate your passion. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's just not for me. I respect that, It's not for everyone, But, I just found it amusing and quite surprising that some people really got like they are getting up in arms about, the master game and how dare you play that, or why are you playing that game? And I can't stand it. I would never play that. I mean, those people have a right to their opinions. But, if somebody wants to play the master game, let them play it. Let them play. Let them play. Let's get William Devane out there, and let them play it. It's, just have fun. One of the things that I really love about this community is how welcoming it has been, how warm everybody has been, which you do not find on a lot of online communities. Certainly in my experience, unfortunately, I've had some experiences with those. And everybody, to date in this community here, the cards and dice community and the APBA community has been so supportive and so welcoming. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. And it's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to, to put anybody down or to make someone feel like, they're doing something wrong because they're playing the master game. I mean, it's just a matter of preference. And I didn't think I was going to like it at first. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I was pretty nervous about it and, dare I say, apprehensive. But I dove in. I said, you know what? I love a challenge. Bring it. Let's try it. And I watched a lot of the videos, like I said, Dave's videos, Tebow's, Al Red Sox fans, etc. And I said, I can do this. I got this. And I've been practicing and I'm still learning, but I really, really love this game. Wasn't that the NBA slogan from the 90s? I love this game. Yeah. Well, I really do love this game, and I'm having so much fun with it. It just goes into more details. Like I said, I could go on and on and on. I'm not going to do that. Pitchers ratings, the pitchers are not just A, B, C, and D. It changes with every batter because that's what real life is. Lefty, righty splits. You have that in the master game now. And, some pitchers do really well against some batters, and then there's others that they really struggle. Even the great ones, really struggle. And I was playing a game, like I said, the Reds and Phillies. Johnny Bench versus lefties is a +11. And Steve Carlton is a 17. So if you take 17 minus 11, that drops Carlton down to a 6. That's just how great Johnny Bench was. And you don't get that in the basic game. I had an exhibition game that I called the Battle of Pennsylvania. The Pirates of '87 versus the Phillies, and Rick Russell, because of his tendency to very rarely give up home runs, the Phillies had a home run taken away from them. And it was a deep fly ball out. So things like that. Those are just a few examples of why I love the master game and why I prefer it over the basic game. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are, your opinions, your feedback. And last but not least, let's be respectful, okay? Agree to disagree. So if you don't like the master game, that's fine. I'm not going to try to convert you. I'm just giving you my thoughts. And for those of you who love it, I'm with you. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.